So Battle Network 2 came out in 2001. Wow, I just felt the check engine light on my knees come on. Since you guys loved the last Battle Network video, I've been grinding through Battle Network 2. So here I am ready to share my unsolicited opinion on this 24-year-old game. But before we get into it, roll intro. Okay, so let's talk about some of the major changes from the first Battle Network game. The biggest and most important addition? A runaway button. Okay, jokes aside, the biggest change is really the game itself. This one felt way longer than the first Battle Network. More virus variants, a larger net to explore, and more side bosses. Plus, this game introduced the first iteration of the style change system. This system lets Mega Man transform based on your playstyle. Gut style for players who spam the Mega Buster, custom style for those who rely on battle chips and program advances, team style for those who love to use Navi chips, shield style for those who love healing, and hub style, the god tier style that you unlock by S ranking all V3 bosses. This style has the bonuses of all other styles in the game. Each style comes with a random element: fire, water, wood, or electric. You can hold two styles at the same time and switch between them to adjust to the situation. The styles that I got during my run were Heat Guts and Wood Shield, and you get a new style every 200 battles. Yes, 200 battles. And I thought Warframe was a grind. Battle-wise, not much has changed. Pick your chips, delete enemies, and move on. So now that we've covered the mechanics, let's talk about the story, because boy, it was something. Oh, and if you enjoy Mega Man Battle Network, feel free to subscribe. If I hit 250 subs, I was promised a puppy, and I will name him Rush. Battle Network 2 takes place 3 months after the events of the first game. It's summer vacation and Lan is doing everything except his homework. Naturally, his mom puts him on lockdown until it's done. This leads us to our tutorial, and then once that's over, the story kicks off. Dex tells us the city is looking for strong candidates to become official net battlers. We apply only to be told we need to take a licensing exam. Hold up, didn't we save the entire internet in the first game? Why do we need to prove ourselves again? So the game can happen. Fair enough. After passing with flying colors, we are hit with our first emergency. Yai is trapped in the bathroom and running out of air. Now logically, we should call the fire department or emergency services, but nope, I, an 11-year-old child, will handle this situation alone. After solving a not so bad puzzle, we find the culprit, Airman, because yeah, the naming scheme in this franchise has and will not improve. His fight is very straightforward, and after we win, his operator is revealed to be some guy that was just trying to ransom Yai for money. Turns out he works for Gospel, aka the Net Mafia, and when he fails, Gospel blows him up. Completely appropriate punishment. After that whole fiasco, Lan, hoping to salvage his summer, decides to go camping. Naturally, Gospel has other plans. They're trying to blow up a dam and flood the area. The culprit, a guy named Speedy Dave, who is mad that people litter and ruin the environment. His master plan? To cause a natural disaster. Did these writers also work on Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire? After defusing the bombs, we fight Quickman, who introduces us to a trend that I really dislike in this game: invulnerability phases. You can only attack him while he's attacking, which made the fight drag on way longer than necessary. With Quickman defeated, we resume our camping trip. Dave is arrested, and the world is safe for now. So Lan remembers he has to actually do his summer homework for once, and he decides to do a project on food from around the world. Finally, something I can relate to. But to access Yumland, the country he's trying to go to, he needs to take yet another licensing exam. The lack of respect is real. We pass, of course, only to find that Yumland's net has been completely destroyed by Gospel. This is where we are reintroduced to Shadow Man, who was a secret boss in the first game. Before battling him though, we have to defeat Cut Man, and I'm just going to leave it at that. We beat him, moving on. We pursue Shadow Man and face him down as well in a not so bad boss fight. After defeating him, the government finally decides to take Gospel seriously and assembles the best net battlers to counter the threat. This means Lan has to travel overseas to Netopia. And here's where things begin to go downhill. Lan immediately makes a series of rookie mistakes when traveling overseas. He even gets into a car with a stranger only to lose his passport and all his battle chips. And then blames Mega Man. This is the most I've ever hated Lan in this series. But what made this situation even weirder was the person who humbles him is Higsby. Yeah, the same guy who tried to brainwash an entire elementary school in the first game. After making up with Mega Man though, we work to recover our stolen items. This leads us into the literal ghetto of Nettopia, which was a choice by the developers, I guess. The localization team definitely did not cook. We then battle Ryu and his Navi Thunderman. Easily one of the most annoying fights in the game. All he does is camp behind his clouds and just keep spamming your side of the field. We're not going to get into that. Eventually we get our stuff back and attend the Net Ballard meeting where, surprise surprise, one of the attendees is secretly working for Gospel. It's Princess Pride, who's upset that her country has been neglected technologically. Her stage, which I like to call Crash Out Castle, is a pure nightmare between obnoxious viruses, one of which is only weak to sword chips, and I only found that out because of Google, and overall brutal map navigation. I nearly rage quit, or as the kids say, crash out. Eventually we reach Nightman, whose fight is just long. He only takes damage when his armor is down. I push through, and after winning, Princess Pride falls into a trap door into Battle Network 5. So, after our adventure in Nettopia, you would think it'd be time for a breather, but nope. Gospel decides to up the stakes by releasing a venomous spider on a plane. The limits they will go just to kill an 11-year-old. To trap and catch it though, we needed to gather some materials, and for some reason one of them was whiskey from a hip-hop artist on the plane. And just take a look at his dialogue. After catching the spider, the plane is then hijacked. So pop quiz, what do you think the pilots did in this situation? A, like and sub to the channel as we are on our way to 250 subs. Actually, you know what? We're not going to do this bit again. But seriously, hit that sub button, it helps a ton. Instead, the pilots leave it to me, a complete and literal child, to handle the situation. The puzzle up for this section revolves around magnets, and the magnet panels during some battles were frustrating, but I pushed through. The boss is Magnet Man, whose operator is mad that the world made him rich and no one cared about him really. I couldn't relate to that. So instead we defeat Magnet Man, and then the guy is promptly arrested and the plane is saved as we enter the last act of the game. So Gospel, finally tired of our shit, starts causing natural disasters worldwide. Now, navigating this next section really buttered my biscuits. It required running all over the net, breaking these ice fragments, and when I tell you that, if it wasn't for Google, I probably would have never figured this out. But once that was done, we fight against Freeze Man, supposedly the supreme Navi for Gospel, though he barely gets any real screen time throughout the game. I should also mention that Gospel's master plan is to create the ultimate Navi, because projects like that always work out well. With Freeze Man defeated and 18 hours of gameplay behind us, it's finally time for the game to end. We head straight to Gospel's base where the leader is revealed, and it's a kid we saw during the plane segment way back when. So yes, the leader of this terrorist organization is a child, making him kind of the perfect foil for Lan when you really think about it. His motivation? People were mean to him. So he went online, found like-minded individuals, and instead of working on self-improvement, he instead founded a criminal syndicate. So did this game just predict Reddit? Now, onto the final battle against the ultimate Navi, Base. If you're familiar with the franchise, you know that Base is an infamously difficult boss. So I gear up, ready to use everything I've learned so far, and he's dead. Just like that. But wait, he transforms into a massive beast that looks like Cybe's Gregor if it came off of Temu. The fight drags a little, but it's not particularly hard, and boom, credits roll. Oh, but there is a post-credit scene. Turns out the real Base is pissed that Gospel uses likeness without his permission, which sets the stage for the next game. Honestly, this might be my least favorite Battle Network so far. The style chain system was great and it made combat feel more engaging, but the story was a little bit half-baked. Sean the villain only shows up at the last minute, and the whole hidden mastermind twist is just cliche. Bosses also felt that they were either a pushover or just had invulnerability phases that made the fight drag out. Now, is Battle Network 2 worth your time? Unless you're going for the platinum, it's skippable. A lot of the characters appear again in Battle Network 5 specifically, but the events of this game have no bearing in 5. This game overall feels like an experiment for Battle Network 3. So, the final verdict is thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, please drop a like and a subscribe. We're grinding to 250 subs, And have you played Battle Network 2? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time for the peak cinematic experience that is Battle Network 3. And you guys, stay safe.